Now, we have no one sitting behind that pillar. If anybody can't see or is not comfortable, there's an empty table over here, there's a round one. You're welcome to relocate. Events. On behalf of Sister Noreen and all the Sisters of St. Joseph present here today, I extend a very warm welcome to all guests. We are gathered here today as one to honor Sister Noreen, the faithfulness to her call to live her life in service as a sister of St. Joseph. And we thank our loving God. Thank you. 80 years as a sister, and to think that most of us here haven't even reached the age of 80 yet. It's amazing. It's impossible to introduce everyone, but let's have a show of hands. Noreen's relatives.
Sister Noreen, it's my privilege to take the opportunity to speak briefly about the contributions that you have made to so many. You're surrounded today by family and friends who know all these contributions. It's been an honor for me to live and work with you at the Catholic Center and the Family Enrichment Center for so many years. You've formed so many deep friendships and shown interest in the activities and lives of family and friends. One of your gifts, Noreen, is your curiosity. You are ever a learner. I can't count the number of times when I would visit you, during which you would tell me about the latest book you were reading. And you would say, Bonnie, it's the best book ever. And over the years, you've transformed your curiosity and your study into programs that you knew would be helpful to others. You developed the Inward Journey years before we as a congregation engaged in our inner work groups. You trained for and presented the Midlife Directions Workshop and many others. You took them on the road to Espanola, to Timmins, and of course Sudbury. Noreen, hundreds have benefited from your work, your companionship, and your love. I am just one of them. So we raise a glass in gratitude for your generous spirit, your openness to the Holy Spirit who has guided you, and we say, we thank you, Noreen.
Cheers.
Do a tribute for 98 years in under 2 hours. But I think I've been successful. Don't worry, we'll get a washroom break before the 2-hour mark. On that cold winter day of December the 19th, 1926, in Beech Grove, Quebec, Noreen's family could not have imagined that the movie of her life would mirror the theme of the 1970 hit movie, Love Story. Most of us in this room are of sufficient vintage that we remember the Paramount movie. Its title song of the same name, with lyrics by Carl Sigmund and music by Francis Lai, became a #1 hit in its day. And when reflecting on Noreen's life, I thought a slight modification of the words appropriately reflected her life and her journey. And if you remember the song, please join in. Where do I begin to tell the story of how great a love can be? The sweet love story that is older than the sea. The simple truth about the love he brings to me. Where do I start? With his first hello, he gave a meaning to this simple world of mine. There'd never be another love, another time. He came into my life and made the living time. Where do I start? So where do I start? As I reflect on the life of this remarkable, loving, and loved woman who is sister, sister-in-law, aunt, cousin, friend, mentor, and most importantly, soul companion to so many of us. Before the Big Bang that created our universe, Noreen's spirit and presence was gently cradled in the heart of the divine, the God that she would later identify as the source of her life and the focus of her love. While some of this short walk through memory lane may seem redundant to some, I learned so much from Noreen's notes and reflections that she prepared. I thought a quick summary would be helpful for all of us. Noreen's parents, John Muldoon and Mary Tom, like most families in the valley, celebrated major life events as gifts from God. Now, for most of us, we celebrate our birthday as the day of celebration. Pope Francis suggested that it was not his birthday that mattered the most to him, but the day of his baptism, the day on which his soul was sealed for eternity into the heart of God. When Noreen's godparents, Leo Muldoon and Mary Ellen Cooney, brought her to St. Mary's Church in Couillot, Quebec, on January the 9th, 1927, neither they nor Noreen's parents could have imagined what the journey of this small child's life would take, nor that some 98 years later we would be sitting in the dining room of St. Joseph's Mother House, remembering with gratitude the twists and turns her life would take, always held in the most profound love in the heart of God. Baptized by Monsignor D.J. MacDonald, he would later write a letter of recommendation for Noreen to enter the Sisters of St. Joseph of Sault Ste. Marie. The handwritten note is still in her file, and it reads as such: I have known Hilda Muldoon all her lifetime, and I consider her character and reputation to be very good. I think she would be a good candidate for the sisterhood. Faith and love are not solitary adventures, and such was the case for Noreen as she enjoyed both the joys and the struggles of any family, including 8 siblings: Stella, Marion, Teresa, Jerry, Cecil, Nora, Helen, and Leona. It was at her mother's knee that Noreen learned to knit and to lovingly care for her family. About 15 years ago, Noreen and I shared a pilgrimage to her home in Beech Grove. We were welcomed into her family home, now the home of her nephew and his family. Noreen shared with me that when she was around 2 years old, in 1928, their farm home caught fire and burned to the ground. Her mom and dad moved the family into the barn, where they lived until the family home could be rebuilt. That took courage and faith, believing that with God's help, the Muldoon clan could rise, literally, from the ashes and continue as a family to grow in love for each other and for the world. As a young woman, Noreen felt called to serve first her country, serving as a dictation stenographer for the Department of Veterans Affairs in Ottawa. But Noreen's sense of service would prove deeper than a commitment to Canada and the war efforts. In her heart, she felt the lure of God to devote her entire life to bringing healing and reconciling love into our world. Although her sister Marion had entered the Sisters of St. Joseph of Pembroke, which would certainly have been much closer to Beech Grove, Noreen felt God's call to mission life. And on September the 8th, 1945, Noreen entered the Sisters of St. Joseph of Sault Ste. Marie in North Bay, renewing the gift of her heart to God, sealing her baptismal promises, dedicated to God and God's people through the vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. Most of us know Noreen as a spiritual companion and friend on our own life journey. Her early years of ministry in the congregation were focused on teaching. As I looked at Noreen's ministry records, she was transferred almost every year. And that's not because she couldn't keep a job. That was because her teaching skills and her spirit and faith were needed in Killarney, Sault Ste. Marie, Sudbury, Fort William, Wikwemicong, and North Bay. In most of her assignments, she would serve as a classroom teacher and principal and as the local superior. These were not easy years, and Noreen could be considered the poster child for the adage today of multitasking. Could Noreen juggle many balls in the air? Of course. But her foundation would always be in the heart of her spouse, her friend, and spiritual lover, Jesus. Her faith and perseverance were obvious to the congregation, who asked Noreen to serve as director of the novitiate from 1968 to 1972. And remember, these were the years when young women were entering religious life in droves. It was not unusual to have classes or groups numbering over 20, most of whom were in their late teen years and filled with enthusiasm and faith to make a difference in our world and in our church. This was also the end of Vatican II. The foundations of the church and of religious life were shifting. In her personal journals, Noreen noted the struggles of these early years in the community. Was she continuing to live her commitment to God and to the community in faith? Could she offer these young postulants, novices, and junior professed sisters the emotional and spiritual support they needed to discern their vocation in life? Her presence and heart journeying were of immense importance to these young lives, so much so that groups continue to visit our mother house each year, ensuring they have time to visit with Noreen and express their gratitude for the grace that she was in their lives and the grace she continues to be for them. In the early years, Noreen was assigned to difficult ministries. This pattern was continued when she was missioned in 1972 to serve as superior at Mount St. Joseph in Sault Ste. Marie and to begin the House of Prayer ministry there. Her efforts and successes did not go unnoticed. From there, she was invited to assume responsibility for the newly constructed Retreat and Spirituality Center in Thunder Bay, Avila Center. It was there that I first met Noreen. She was serving as the local superior, and I was a novice, sent to Thunder Bay to learn how to cook under the guidance of Sister Marie Reynolds and Agnes de Gregorio. It was the first time I had been so far from home in Sudbury, and I was dreadfully homesick. But what do I remember of Noreen from my 3-month cooking apprenticeship? I recall her kindness and her support, her love of the sisters, and her love and partnership with the clergy and people who served there. Recently I was in Thunder Bay and spoke to Monsignor Pat Stilla, and I suggested that Noreen would want to be remembered by him or to him. His response was, "Now there's a woman who's not afraid to work." It was she who made Avila Center a blessing in our diocese. Remember I said that Noreen felt she never really was prepared for the missions to which she was assigned? Finally, in 1979, Noreen was able to drink from the well of knowledge and faith at the Jesuit University, Gonzaga in Spokane, where she successfully completed her master's degree in theology and spirituality. With both her educational qualifications and life experiences to guide her, Noreen returned to Canada to initiate new ministries in Sudbury. This ministry would assume different names over time: the Spiritual Renewal Center, the Catholic Center, the Family Enrichment Center. But the essence of the ministry remained constant: ministry to and with the people of God, helping them to find their God center and walk with courage and faith, bringing healing and reconciliation into our world. There would be no settling down for Noreen in this Sudbury ministry. In her journal, she noted a significant dream in which she was in what seemed to be a cave with a clear crystal pool in the center. The cave was dark, and she found herself asking this question into the dark space of her dream, where she knew that God dwelt. Who will lead me out of the darkness of the cave? The response she heard was, Carl Jung will show you the way. This wisdom of the unconscious, of the God within, offered Noreen the inspiration to seek out further education in midlife direction. While working full-time, she enrolled in additional courses to become a midlife consultant and retreat facilitator. When reviewing Noreen's own notes on her life, Noreen divided her life into key sections. Rather than seeing her life in a linear fashion, she reflected on her life in cycles or circles of discovery, with each cycle inviting her to a greater depth in prayer, uncovering both the gifts and the challenges of each of these life moments. And she divided her reflections in a very unique way. The morning of her life, age 19 to 55, the evening, age 55 to 80, later life, 80 plus. So the morning of her life included her early years in the congregation and her first ministries. She notes the gifts of this time included her education, learning the discipline of hard work and study, and the joy of ministry within the community and with the laity. The flip side of this coin, Noreen noted, as her life challenges, and they were significant: fatigue, loneliness, overwork, little time for family and friends, never feeling sufficiently prepared for ministry to which she was assigned, and being hounded by feelings of inadequacy and an unaddressed longing for more solitude in her life. In the evening of her life, aged 55 to 80, there were far more gifts than challenges that she noted. Remember that longing for solitude during the morning of her life? This cycle in her life journey began to offer her more precious moments for reflection. Given Noreen's additional preparations for ministry, she began to feel at home, especially in her spiritual and human development ministries. As Noreen noted, she could never have found joy in her ministry without the people with whom she worked, and that would be all of you in this room today. In one way, shape, or form, you have been and continue to be a profound gift of God for Noreen. And during this time, Noreen had a bit of time to travel and enjoy some Sabbath time in the Bahamas with her cousin, who grew up just down the hill from Noreen's house in Beach Grove. With every moment of our individual and collective life journey, there's always challenges. But the challenges of this cycle in her life became health issues that continued to plague her, but thankfully not to the degree they once did. One thing that has not changed, Noreen can still enjoy an occasional drink of vodka. It's not on the allergy list. Another challenge Noreen noted was abandoning her need to know more and more, and choosing to keep only what was relevant and what she needed to nourish her soul. And now we come to Noreen's latter life. As was mentioned, while vacationing with Noreen in Florida in 2007, she had a major brain aneurysm. As we all know, this is both a life-threatening and life-altering moment. But there is a funny story associated with this. If anything amusing can come out of a brain aneurysm, and that was the fact that approximately a few weeks before the aneurysm, she had a fractured tooth while in Florida, and she required a tooth replacement. So where does one find a dentist in Florida? Noreen knew we would call 1-800 Shirley Thavitt, whose daughter Krista was studying at Harvard to become an oral and maxillofacial surgeon. The dentist we found in Florida suggested a tooth replacement, which he discounted because Noreen was a nun. We were glad. All went well. When Noreen had the aneurysm, I was with her in the ER and said, "Now Noreen, we just paid $5,000 US for that tooth, and we need to get our money's worth, so there'll be no dying." No pressure, no pressure. While the aneurysm was frightening for Noreen and for all of us, we were blessed that it happened in Orlando, where one of the top neurosurgeons had recently relocated and assumed responsibility for Noreen's care. Noreen's surgery was 100% successful, and her recovery was long and tedious, requiring relocation to our mother house here in North Bay, where she could access skilled nursing care. This major challenge in her life would be transformed into many blessings, in which the care and love of Sister Aileen in pastoral care, daily visits by Monsignor Dennis Murphy, the skill of the nursing staff, sisters, friends, and family played a major role in Noreen's healing. At the mother house, Noreen said she was able to hear the trees, the lake, and the flowers whispering words of wellness to her, calling her to trust that each cell in her body was being healed. It was during this time that Noreen felt the spark of joy growing again in her heart. She recounted the first time she was able to walk up to communion at Mass without help as one of her greatest joys, a moment of hope that more healing would continue. All of this leads us to the now moment, where Noreen has planned and hoped for this celebration, not for herself, but to create the time and the space for all of you, her family and friends, to be together and to celebrate each other, learning in deeper ways that God lives in every breath and every step we take. and that it is our relationships that form the seedbeds of grace in our lives. Noreen wanted this time for all of us to pause and see our place and role in the cosmic dance of life, where each of us can be freed from pretense, enjoy time to nurture our authentic selves, and reconcile with each other and ourselves, and offer thanks for the many blessings that are part of our lives. Earlier this year, Noreen had some cardiac issues that required the insertion of a pacemaker. While we had hoped that the pacemaker would offer a definitive solution for this health issue, this was not to be. As I said to Noreen, I wish we could turn the clock back 30 years or so. So what are the blessings of life on which we can focus? At this point on her journey, time to express her gratitude for all that life and God have given to her are most important in her life. In her journal, she expressed the things for which she's most grateful. My community, which has supported me and my ministry. My family, nieces, nephews, who enrich my soul and my life. My friends who have encouraged me and helped me in many ways by their love and friendship. My retirement years, where my needs have been graciously met and where loving companions encouraged me to live life fully. At the end of her litany of thanksgiving, Noreen noted again her gratitude to each of you for your love, for your healing forgiveness for her mistakes, and to those whom she may have wounded along the journey of life, she asked for your forgiveness, noting her prayers for your inner healing, encircling you on your journey to freedom and wholeness. Even when using oxygen or struggling to mobilize, Noreen is the personification of a soul and spirit that is fully alive to the glories of God. I began this reflection with the theme song from the movie Love Story that asks the question, where do I begin to tell the story of how great a love can be? Noreen, your life is an example of your graced history, your love story with the one who has been your closest friend and ally for your whole life journey. We are honored and blessed by your presence, as well as your invitation to share the truth of your life. Thank you, Noreen, for being our sister, aunt, friend, teacher, advocate, and guide on your own life journey. We pray with you that God will continue to hold you tenderly in the palm of God's hand. And when that moment arrives, when you will be embraced for all eternity into the heart of God, we pray in gratitude for your life, well lived, well graced, a testimony of courage and faithfulness. At that moment, we know you will hear God's whisper in your soul saying again, come now, my love, my dove, my beautiful one, come. For see, the winter is over and past. The time of the singing of birds has come. Thank you, Noreen.
With the beautiful words of Noreen and your love. were a few words I wanted to say. I wanted to say a thank you to my family, my siblings. Our family home shaped who I am, with faith, love, and care at its center. To my nieces and nephews and your spouses, thank you. Your kindness, visits, calls, and hospitality over the years have meant so much. You made me feel truly cherished. And today we take a moment to remember those who have died in the last 8 years. To each of them, I know they're looking down on all of us with great love. We thank you for being here today. You are deeply loved, and I am forever grateful. And a thank you to my friends. True friendship reveals the beauty of connection. It is a sacred space where love, truth, and tenderness are shared. In your friendship, I've found light, strength, and joy. Our time together has been rich with meaning, grace, and faith. Thank you for your love, compassion, and presence in my life. May the beauty we share continue to ripple out in kindness and hope. With all my heart, to my friends, thank you for walking this journey with me. To my community, for 80 years, North Bay has been my home, a place where I've grown into the woman God intended, grounded in the values I learned on the family farm with my siblings. Looking back, I see God's quiet hand guiding each step. As one reflection says, life is a never-ending circle of discovery. I'm deeply grateful to this community that has supported me with love, learning, travel experience, and lasting friendships. Thank you to each of you for walking this journey with me. Now I invite the sisters to sing with me. God bless my community.
Bless our community. Oh, glad we love. Stand beside it and guide it with a light that is bright from above. Bless Sister Bonnie, Sister Noreen, and our sisters, one and all. God bless our community, our home, sweet home.
Well, my farm, sweetest one, Nehemiah, son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Well, tell the lie, the crawfish pie, that I love. Well, don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze, listening to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please, don't fence me in. Well, just turn me loose and let me stride on my own saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, so let me walk over yonder till I see the sea. Let's go mountains dark and dreary. when I ain't far away, of the rains and floods. Will you ever know the sign?
And by offering you the Irish blessing. And everybody at the table can join in, if you wish, in the refrain. And I'm just waiting for the leader of the song to arrive.
How many know this melody?
Will.
May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always with you. May the sunshine warm you always, filling you with peace. May the rain fall softly on you. May the hand of God uphold you. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always with you. May the sunshine warm you always, filling you with peace. Christ before you, Christ behind you, Christ beneath you, Christ above you. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always with you. May the sunshine warm you always, filling you with peace. Christ to shield you, Christ be with you. Christ be with you now and always. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always with you. May the sunshine warm you always, filling you with peace. Christ in every eye that sees you. Christ in every ear that hears of you. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always with you. May the sunshine warm you always, filling you with peace. Christ in every heart that knows you. Christ in every word that speaks of you. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always with you. May the sunshine warm you always, filling you with peace. Christ is on your left, Christ on your right. Christ when you lie down with
And a round of applause for Daniel with the great big
Through the great lake water, this land was made for you and one more. This land is your land, this land is my land. From Bonavista to Vancouver Island, from the Arctic Circle to the great lake water. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me night and the skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and here we go. This land is your land, yeah. This land is my land. From Bonavista to Vancouver Island, from the Arctic Circle to the Great Lake Water. This land was made for you and me. I rode down Muldoon and I walked my footsteps through the sparkling ice field of the Arctic desert, and all around me a voice this land was made for you. Here we go. And I trade all my tomorrows for a single yesterday. Oh, my body close my eyes.
Video is going.